Your Worship,
Yes.
if I could just, my apologies for interrupting here, if I could just make sure as we have somebody who is attending virtually to make sure that all hands are raised,
Right.
or they're saying yes or no or yay or nay.
I'll check on that. My mistake. I should check on that. Here's a bit of a delay on that. So, Committee of the Whole report. The following resolutions were considered on December 13th, 2023 by Council at the Committee of the Whole meeting. I'll read the recommendations. Recommendation that Council approve the strategy for long-term risk management and the need to build reserves for water and sewer infrastructure using the general parcel tax, including 1, setting a policy that general parcel tax revenues need to be placed in non-statutory reserves as they are collected. 2, staff should update the parcel tax bylaw with a schedule of the following rates. Water, 2024, 5%, same with sewer. 2025, 5% for both again, and 2026, 5% for both again. Do I want to do these one at a time, or? Okay. Questions, Council, questions on that? It's from the Committee of the Whole. We have all had our say.
We just need a mover and a seconder.
Yep. Councillor Richard, Councillor Ogan. There we go. Any questions on this? All those in favor? Opposed? Wendy, did you put your hand up, or? I'm not sure Wendy can hear us. I don't think Wendy can hear us. CL White, can you hear us? I don't think anybody can hear us here. We'll just give a minute here because I think we have some technical difficulties with people that are coming in online here. Just a moment here. I may have to redo this one because can anybody Cindy or Cynthia or Wendy or Cynthia, can you hear us now? Still nothing. Okay. 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 Should we continue, or should we just hold off a little bit here? Oop, now they're gone. Oh my God, I hate wearing these things.
Councillor Charney, are you able to hear us now?
Do we have our speaker turned on?
Can turn that up as well.
I'm not sure if it's on or not. I think I heard Wendy. Okay, good. CAO White, are you able to hear us? Yes. Excellent, excellent, thank you. Okay, we're back. Should I redo that? Okay, so we're at 7.1 Committee of the Whole report, and I'll read the recommendation again because you guys were not on the air. Recommendation is that Council approve the strategy for longer-term risk management and the need to build reserves for water and sewer infrastructure using the general parcel tax, including setting a policy that general parcel tax revenues need to be placed in non-statutory reserves as they are collected. Staff should set up the parcel tax bylaw with a schedule of the following rates. Water and sewer, 2024, 5% for both. 2025, 5% for both. 2026, 5% for both. I did have a mover. I think it was Councillor Egan and Councillor Etchart. Any questions on that at all? It's from the Committee of the Whole. So. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Second recommendation, that Council approve the recommended changes to the organizational chart and the wages as presented. Mover? Don't have a mover. No mover. Councillor Egan? Need a seconder? Councillor Olgan? Questions? Any questions? All those in favor? Oh, sorry, Councillor Olgan.
So by now, staff and council understand the financial hardship the city of Merritt is going through. In order to help our budget, and we understand that there is a deficit, council is considering raising property taxes as well as other things that we need to get done. So I feel like this council needs to make those big decisions here, and we are not in the position to increase wages, and I would be against.
Okay. Councillor Egan?
Again, as I mentioned earlier, I do believe that we did see the organizational chart and the wage reviews earlier in an earlier meeting, and I kind of feel that we have to have a lot more discussion on it before we finalize anything, because I'm in agreement with Councillor Olgan that the city isn't in a position, although it has been mentioned that if we do adopt this particular organizational chart and the changes to the positions and wages within the current structure of the city, we could save a fair chunk of change. But I still believe that we need to discuss it further.
Would you like to table this motion?
I would like to table.
I need a seconder for that to happen. Councillor Petrosi.
Thank you.
Any other questions on tabling of this for now? Councillor Richard.
Well, I can appreciate that we have to be very careful with the finances. I think that the organizational chart was thought out by staff about where they could make some efficiencies with what we have. The other thing to consider is that finding staff right now is very competitive, and I don't think that it was anything overly different than any other municipality bringing people up to wages to keep competitive with other communities. And if we don't make any decisions and we don't approve this, we could be at risk of losing the staff that we do have. So that is a concern about voting against this or tabling it. I agree, saving money is important and being very careful. But I also am concerned that if we don't approve this, that we could lose the quality staff that we have currently.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Councillor Charney.
We need a little bit more time to actually discuss it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Egan again.
To add that I think that if we're tabling it, we can't afford to waste too much time to have the discussion. So the sooner we can get together to do that, or have a special resolution meeting or special committee meeting. Maybe, I'm not sure what kind of meeting it is, but we need to discuss it sooner than later.
Any other questions pertaining, CAO? Kevin, this is budget talk. When do we have to have the budget completed by?
So we have until May 15th ultimately, or May 14th, because it has to be before, to have both sets of bylaws completed. So we have some time to finalize both the taxation bylaw and the budget bylaw. I think regarding some of these resolutions, we wanted them regular council meeting minutes. So a closed session at a regular council meeting be appropriate, something like this, just so that there's meetings and it's documented and all those things. And I think that was ultimately why we were bringing them from the committee of the whole through to this regular council meeting. So that was my understanding.
Okay. Most likely be the next time we would see this. Any other questions? On the motion of tabling it, all those in favor? All those opposed? Is that a tie? Tie is defeat. So, Councillor Ogan, that was to table it to have, so you don't want to table it? Okay. Okay. So back to the original recommendation. That council approve the recommended changes to the organizational chart and wages as presented. Any other questions on this? All those in favor? Opposed? Defeated. Councillor Charney, if you don't put your hand up, it's counted as a yes. We didn't see it. What? Opposed it, okay. Okay. So, with that, that defeats that. CAO White. Great, so now we have. So, floor's open for recommendation on this. Can't just leave it the way it is. Councillor Egan.
I would just like to ask Councillor Hogan, how are we going to further discuss this if we don't have the additional information in front of us? And deal with it tonight, I mean.
So I just want to make clear that I understand the wage that the staff deserves. One thing is what they deserve, one thing is what we can afford. And we are not in the position to afford those increases at this time. So if we are going to talk about an organizational chart, I'm open for that. So, but we cannot right now add anything else to the payroll.
Councillor Richard. I'll come back to you, Councillor Egan.
Well, I I don't mind in the comments that Council Organ is making about approving the organizational chart, and if the rest of council wants to review the wages at a different meeting or further, I would agree with that as well. But I really think to move forward, management needs to be able to plan their year and how they operate projects. And I think the organizational chart was well thought out. If everybody wants to discuss more and have the wages, I can appreciate that, but I really think that they need to move forward with their plan so that they can have people in roles and plan and hire and keep going with our strategic plan, because if we don't, they're paralyzed. And we really kind of need to make some decisions and not waffle and just kind of, you know what, and get off the pot, because we really need to make some decisions. And I thought it was a slam dunk. I'm kind of surprised here. Thanks.
Councillor Egan.
I just recall at a
Councillor Charney. Thank you. CEO White, you had your hand up or no? So I'll make the motion to defer to the end of the meeting. Go in camera. There's no second on defer. There's no discussion on defer. It just goes. So that's where we're going with that. So we will defer to the end of the meeting. Okay, moving on to the next one. A recommendation that all properties currently receiving property tax exemptions as per the permissive tax exemption bylaw be required to pay parcel tax from 2024 onward. Councillor Egan and Councillor Petrosi, any discussion on this? Councillor Hogan.
I'm trying to remember this information when it says all properties currently receiving. What properties are we talking about?
Churches. CEO White. Regan.
Yes, I just wanted to be clear so that these people that are receiving parcel or tax exemptions if we pass or create a new bylaw or a new policy, they would still be exempted from the original taxes, but they would have to pay the 5% parcel tax,
They'd have to pay their parcel tax, yes.
or whatever it is, yes.
Because it never was part of the permissive tax exemption.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do, is
So
we're going to
it's-
set a policy.
It's
Right.
bringing it back into where it's supposed to be.
Okay, that's great, thank you.
Councillor Richard?
I was just commenting on Councillor O'Keen's comment. And yeah, those that got the parcel tax breaks shouldn't have, so
Yeah.
they got lucky.
Yep.
So.
Any other questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Recommendation that the budget for financial support for community organizations and events be a total of $25,000, combining the grant and aid program and the council contingency budgets, and that administration and the policy review committee review the criteria for receiving financial assistance from council and bring forward a new policy for consideration. Councillor Egan? Councillor Petrosi? Any questions on this? I think we kind of discussed this one to death. I think we kind of all know where we want to be on this. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moving on to bylaws. City of Merritt election and assent voting bylaw number 2357-2023. Recommendation that the City of Merritt election and assent voting bylaw number 20357-2023 be adopted. Councillor Hogan, Councillor Egan, questions? Councillor Egan.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, I mean, I read through that and I was looking around to see if I had another copy of the original. And I would like to know what areas of this bylaw we've amended, if anybody knows.
Linda.
Thank you, Your Worship. We are including mail ballots. That's one of the big changes in the report that we had initially with the first, second, and third reading. It included mail ballots. We are including counting machines. The city has previously owned counting machines. We're implementing that again. We are going to be leasing the counting machines this time because the ones that we have purchased in the past are no longer supported. So we will be leasing that. The rest, trying to think if there's any other major pieces. The big major change really is around mail balloting, which allows a greater participation for people who own property in the city to be able to vote if they live elsewhere. And for anyone who is going to school out of province or out of town, they're able to vote. So it just increases participation in the election.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Thank you for the explanation. Appreciate it. New business 9.1, Middlesboro Bridge Fee Board Elevation. Miss Katie Curtis, Recovery and Flood Mitigation, will present on this item. You don't look like Katie, but come on up. Mr. Sean Strang, formerly known as Katie.
Thank you, Your Worship. I can hear that from here, Adam. Okay, Middlesboro Bridge. So just a bit of a refresher. Last time we talked about the bridge, we were talking about the design build program, the contractor selection, and some of the other details in that process. I'm happy to report that we are well underway in the detail design of this single span bridge that we've selected, announced, etc. So it's going very well. There are a couple of things, I guess a number of design details that we're having to decide through. This specific design detail, hang on, I just gotta open this so I have my little speaking notes. It's somewhat complex because our OCP is silent on bridge building standards, which is not particularly surprising, and I'm gonna say there's no small municipality in BC that spends a whole bunch of time in an OCP to decide what bridge building standards should be, because it's just not an activity that happens often. So in this particular case, we revert back to there's a few different standards that could be reverted back to. The one that makes the most sense is MODI standards. So MODI standards kind of describe how a bridge should be built, how tall it should be built, how much freeboard being the amount of air, amount of air in between the highest expected water, 1 in 200 year flood, and the bottom of the bridge, or low chord is the terminology you'll see in here. And so MODI standards range from 0.2 meters to 1.5 meters, depending upon the type of bridge, traffic of bridge, etc. Obviously, 1.5 meters is big, high volume main bridges. 0.2 meters is, I can't remember, small pedestrian type bridges, very low traffic, forestry, etc. And everywhere in between. So in order to deviate from that 1.5 meter standard, an approval must be relayed. Because we're not getting approval from MODI, we're interpreting, because it's not a MODI bridge, of course, street bridge, we're interpreting that approval needs to be from council, and a good kind of bit of an update for where we're at with bridge design and low chord design. So I do have a recommendation in here that it be adopted, but we do have a bit of a PowerPoint presentation from our engineer of record. Can't remember who's all in this. Katie is for sure. Oh, we've got the whole team here for you to quiz and give them the rundown here. That's basically most of my involvement, just the introduction of it. They're going to explain through why the low chord is getting varied from 1.5 meter to 0.8 meters, and talk a little bit about what that design has been so far. So with that, I will let you take it away.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Questions, council? Any questions at all? Since none of us are engineers, we're going to take you at your word here. That's why we pay you guys the big bucks, right? Councilor Oben.
Thanks so much for the information. It was very informative. A lot of information, by the way. My only question is any potential freeboard related issues if we follow your recommendation versus following MOTI's standard? Yes, I want to understand the rationale. Right now, you are recommended north 0.8 meters versus a 1.5 that it was recommended by MOTI. So I want to understand if we decide to go with 1.5, what would be the complication? Instead of sort of. So what could be the guarantee if we decide to go with your recommendations in the future? So if there is any issue happening from that, so is there anything else that you would do?
Councilor Egan.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with these recommendations at all, really. I was just thinking, and I'm not sure if you were involved in the building of the bridge at Main Street, wondering what, or if we are looking at any kind of low foundation implications there. Okay.
So the Main Street Bridge is outside of the scope of this particular bridge rebuild. You are 100%, oh, excuse me, 100% correct in that the low chord of the Main Street Bridge has been identified to be below any standard that you would want to apply to it, and debatably is below actually the previous Q200 standard. So it will require something. What exactly that something is depends on how much money I can shake free from the tree. I guess at the end of the day, there is a few different options that we have for that, including some isolation gates, up to a full complete bridge rebuild similar to what we're doing here. So currently we actually have an application under, excuse me, a separate application under the DMAF, Disaster Mitigation Adaptation Fund through Infrastructure Canada, to do a rebuild of the Main Street Bridge. No other funding sources at the current time have been identified for a replacement of that magnitude. We haven't heard back from DMAF. I've been knocking on their door fairly steady for, I've included you in a bunch of those emails for quite a few months now. They don't have a timeline of approval, but of course you will be the first to know when that does get approved. So it is something that we're looking at in conjunction with the rebuild of the rest of the dikes in that area.
Okay, thank you. I also wanted to know what the particular lifespan of that bridge is right now.
The Main Street
Main
Bridge?
Street, yeah.
I don't know the answer to that. The Main Street Bridge wasn't identified in this project, of course, because this funding is for rebuilding.
I realize that, but I'm just
the
wondering.
other one, which means that we haven't identified or we haven't spent a ton of time engineering the Main Street Bridge other than to identify it's too low. Don't know what the actual lifespan of the bridge is, and that could be a question that would be directed to Public Works. At the current time, Public Works would be the one responsible for maintaining, and in our new asset management plan, identifying the replacement interval of that bridge.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any other? No other questions, so we do have a recommendation that council approve the reduction in the Middlesbrough Bridge freeboard design guideline from 1.5 meters as used by MODI to the lowest point of the bridge down to 0.8 meters as recommended by the engineer of record. Councillor Etchart, Councillor Petrosi. Lots of questions have been asked. Any more questions before we, those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you everyone for your input and your presentation. Appreciate it. And look forward to seeing the bridge done. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. 9.2 Community Resiliency Investment CRI Program 2024 Grant Funding. We have a recommendation that council instructs staff to submit the attached grant application for the UBCM Community Resiliency Investment CRI Program 2024 Fire Smart Community Funding and Supports. We have two recommendations here. Should I do both of them at the same time or one at a time here? One at a time. That's the one that's on the floor right now. Councillor Egan, Councillor Petrosi, questions on any of this? Councillor Charney. I agree. Lots of information there. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Second recommendation that council commits to providing the overall grant management. Councillor Etchart, Councillor Ogin, any questions on that? Councillor Ogin.
Can staff provide a little bit of information regarding the overall grant management, so dollar amount? How much would that cost?
Yes, please, and then we'll hear from the chief after that. Thank you, thank you. Chief, do you have any more to put up?
The other thing I'd like to add is that one portion of the grant is for $45,000 to offset staffing of the Fire Smart coordinator, who will be doing the grant reporting at the end of this project.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions on this recommendation? Seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None. Carried. Thank you. 9.3, SILGA resolutions. Recommendation that council receive the December 2023 report of the Director of Corporate Services for information. Councillor Egan, Councillor Ogan, any questions on this at all? Linda, it looks like you're going to push a button. Go ahead.
I just wanted to put this out there for council, your worship, that if there are any resolutions that council would like to put forward, this is the opportunity to put it forward either today, or we can bring it forward to the next council meeting if you'd like as well. So if council wishes to direct staff to work with council, we can certainly do that.
I will probably be talking to you, so I do have one. So just wanted to make sure it makes sense before I move ahead with it. So the invitation is out there to council. If you want, again, we don't have to have any recommendations, but if there's something that you feel is missing, please feel free. Councillor Etchart.
The only comment that I have on this is that what we should probably do is maybe look at past UBCM notes, because sometimes the same resolutions keep being recycled year after year, and they just get a couple of words different from 2018 to 2023, and they're just recycled, and sometimes they're refuted at, they may go to SILGA and be approved, and they may get declined at UBCM or put in a block. So maybe worth the time to look at past UBCM resolutions.
And I do believe, I know with Greg and probably with Linda, they will flag that right away, how many times it's hit UBCM. Because it's the same thing. If it's been there, why beat the dead horse, right? So, yeah. So, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Notices of motion. Do we have any notices of motion? No notices of motion. Reports from council. Who'd like to go first? Anyone? Anyone? I'll just go first. It was Christmas. I did Christmas and got sick, and it was great. Thanks. Anyone else? Oh, that's Richard.
I hope everybody had a great holiday and Happy New Year to everybody. I know that there hasn't been a lot since our last council meeting, but I know that we have some more things coming in. I know that next week, I think next Tuesday, you have a presentation where people can come bug you with all their questions. So I encourage everyone in town to do that.
Oh no, and strip.
Lots of different volunteer things, and I know that a lot of different community groups will be looking for their volunteers for 2024, and hopefully if anybody knows anybody that wants to volunteer for shoveling sidewalks for seniors, since we don't have snow angels up and running, that would be great. If you know anybody who wants to volunteer for that, that'd be encouraged, because we're going to have that, well, hopefully snow's coming. Well, maybe not hopefully, but for snowpack it would be nice, but I don't really have much else other than that.
Thank you. Any other reports? Councillor Egan.
Thank you, and Happy New Year to everybody as well. I spent a lot of time with a lot of members in the community because of the catering, the amount of catering that I did over the holidays. I just wanted to say that I was really impressed with the Chamber of Commerce. Their gala went very, very well, and I thought what a great idea for them to allow small businesses in particular to get together and celebrate with their staff at a larger event with other community businesses. And I just wanted to mention too that I'll be going to my first chamber meeting on Monday, where they're going to be discussing their celebration of Merrittonians in May, on the May long weekend. Businesses future or past and present, and some future ones as well. And I'm really looking forward to being involved with that, as well as reorganizing downtown revitalization plan. I've spoken to quite a few different businesses in the downtown, and they're quite excited to get moving on it as well. So thank you.
Thank you, and I just want to say thank you for all the catering you did. Every single event I went to, and it was catered by your yourself and your company was well received, and saw you everywhere. So I'm glad you finally got some time off at Christmas. So, but thank you for your community input. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Okay, moving on. CAO verbal update. CAO White, you got the floor. Oh, can't hear you. You must be on mute. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Appreciate you zoning in for us. Appreciate it. Information items. Silga, 13.1, Silga, call for nominations. Do we wish to nominate someone for Silga to run? Put a member's name forward. Councillor Etchart, looking at you. You did it last year. I nominate Councillor Etchart. Dang, you're in. Are you okay with that? Turn your mic on so people can hear.
Really be any worse than last year?
Hey, you know what?
You know, yeah, I mean,
you stand up, you put your name forward. You know what? I appreciate you doing that. Unless there's somebody else who's got a burning desire.
I mean, I'll do it if nobody else wants to do it. It's interesting. We're going to be hosting Silga, so we should probably make somebody do it. So it doesn't look like anyone else.
I'll just cut your mic off right now.
Okay.
So we're good. Councillor Etchart puts his name forward. Do we need to do? We okay with that, or do we need to do a whole?
We can do a resolution if you like, and then it's in the minutes.
So a resolution is that Councillor Etchart puts his name forward for the Silga board. What? Oh, Wendy. Seconder. Councillor Petrosi. Councillor Charney. Councillor Petrosi. All those in favor? Opposed? Nope, you can't vote no there. Great, that's great. And for those who do not know, we have been asked to host Silga in 2025. That'll be the second time we've done that, so it'll be exciting. Okay, so some other things there. There is the letter from Todd Doherty. The BC Air Access Program, 13.3. The grant application has been submitted. Do we wish to pass a resolution forward to the committee stating that council supports the application? Councillor Egan says yes. Councillor Etchart says yes. Any other questions on that? All those in favor? It's always good to do that. Oh.
Would you like to read the resolution since
Sure.
it's not on the agenda?
The resolution is a resolution that council directs staff sorry, to apply to the BC Air Access Program for funding to support a Merritt Airport runway rehabilitation and overlay and taxiway paving project, which costs totaling $2,355,000, excluding GST, of course, comprised of a minimum BCAAP funding to the amount of $2 million and the maximum municipality funded to the amount of $355,000. Everybody still good with that? Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay. Anything else? Yes.
The question is that any project cost overages be
Oh,
paid by
I'm
the
sorry.
city.
And that any project cost overages be paid by the city. Same, everybody still okay with that? I don't have to vote again, do I? All those in favor? Opposed? Good to go. Sorry, I missed that. I'd wear my glasses, but they steam up. I can't see anything. So, council resolutions, blah, 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 blah. Actually, there's a couple of things that I did want to put out there that I forgot. So I just wanted to acknowledge the passing of Bonnie Cowan. December 18th, she passed away. She was a past councillor, and she was really loved by all. And she was a friend of mine. I met her in 2008. She actually convinced me to start running for council, and she was always somebody I could bounce something off. So I would just like to acknowledge her passing and send our condolences to all her friends and family, and appreciate the service of being on council, because we all know what that's like. One other thing I would like to bring up, I'm sorry, I was remiss on this. Sorry. I gotta put my glasses on, so this might take a moment. Saturday, February the 3rd, at the Grand Pub and Grill, there is a fundraiser steak dinner for Kayla Dunlop. I don't know if any of you know who Kayla is. She is a 14-year-old that is dealing with a serious cancer situation. I will be buying my tickets for it. I would hope everybody else does the same as well, and I hope to see you all there to support this young woman. And hopefully we can make something good happen for her. So that is, again, is Saturday, February the 3rd, starting at 3:30. There'll be two sittings, one at 5 and one at 7. 7:15, so that's usually the way it goes. And again, thank you to the Grand for doing that. So just, I thought I would get that out there as well. Yes,
There is one more item that was added to the agenda.
I know. I'm just getting there.
Awesome, I'm sorry.
So
I'm
we are
just
going to
jumping
get
way ahead.
to the late resolution 13.6, and that is the council extend the expiry date for the waiving of permit application fees as outlined in the January 18th, 2023 report entitled Revisions to Flood Inundation Zone Building Measures adopted December 7th, 2021 of the Director of Planning and Development Services for the flood affected homes property owners 1201 McMillan Road until December 31st, 2024. So we have a letter from Ms. Street on the situation asking for some leniency on that. And I've been dealing with Joanne for close to 2 years on this, and a lot of this has not her doing. It is simply the area that she's in has not moved forward quickly enough to cover where she was. So I am in favor of the motion to forgive the building permits, etc. So Councillor Chart seconds. Any discussion on this at all? She's been a long time resident of this community, and she helps out whenever she can. So I would be more than happy to see her get back into her home again. It's a plus for all of us. So all those in favor? Opposed? No opposed. Carried. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Council. Councillor Ogan, please.
So if I may, I want to ask about 13.2 about the poster, information poster. Do we have to make a motion to display that poster? I think it's important, the 988 poster information in the Merritt facilities.
Just direction to staff would be appropriate if you wanted to let us know that this is what you'd like to do, and we've heard that, and we'll make sure that it's posted.
I agree. Let's make that happen. So you have the approval. Thank you for bringing that up, Councillor Ogan. Appreciate it. Oh.
So regarding 13.3, can staff please remind me if we have received the Excel spreadsheet regarding the status of all the grant applications that have been submitted, declined, approved, in process, so that we have a better understanding of all the grants?
You're already on.
CAO.
CAO White. Thank you. Also appreciate the council resolutions. It's always nice to see that at the what we've done, etc. Councillor Egan.
Regarding the council resolutions, I was just wondering if it would be possible to have a place somewhere on our computers where we can go and like we were talking about, posting them in the boardroom, you know, when projects get completed, everything that the items that we've requested and or waiting for action to be taken on. Is that possible?
These are on the server, are they not?
I don't know.
CAO White.
Charter. 90,
Let's give us a minute here.
I think it is one. Yep. Would you like me to pull up the resolution from the last meeting?
Sure,
And then we
please.
can read that one?
You bet. Please. So let's move ahead with the first resolution. First resolution would be to waive notice to go into in camera. Councillor Egan, Councillor Etchart. Those in favor? Opposed? Okay, so we're done that one.
So the resolution would be that this meeting be closed to the public pursuant to section 91C, labor relations or other employee relations of the community charter.
Excellent. That's what I would have said if it was in front of me. So, do I have a mover on that, please? Councillor Hogan, Councillor Egan seconds. All those in favor?